When JoJo first made the BDK song, man, him and Lil J rolled up on a porch. Like, check out this new song. When I heard it, my first thing to tell JoJo, like, hey, look, you cold with the lyrics, but you're gonna have a problem, bro, because you're not just coming at Lamron or Lil Reese, you're coming at a whole nation. I told him that.
What was the O Block reaction to that song? What was, you living in O Block, what was the initial reaction?
Like, the initial reaction was, he finna die.
He ain't run no nah, JoJo. We don't know JoJo shit today. Stretch gang, guy. We out here on the block.
I'm making this like
JoJo.
On August 31st, 2012, Lil Jojo made the biggest mistake of his life that turned the city of Chicago upside down. He dropped the track BDK, and it wasn't just another diss song.
These claim 300, but we BDK.
This song ended up lighting the fuse for one of the most violent gang wars Chicago has ever seen. Despite the fact that a lot of people were warning him, telling him to back off, he did not listen.
At the end of the day, Joe, gotta understand, Joe, down behind this, you feel me? Joe, don't be the one, Joe. Try to take y'all school, Joe. Be something about property, Joe. Real talk, Joe.
When JoJo first made the BDK song, man, him and Lil J rolled up on a porch. Like, check out this new song. When I heard it, my first thing to tell JoJo, like, hey, look, you cold with the lyrics, but you're gonna have a problem, bro, because you're not just coming at...
It seemed like he was out to prove just how tough he really was. Tragically, it wasn't just him who paid the price. His actions left a bloody mark on the whole city. Let's break it all down. Lil Jojo grew up in Englewood, one of the roughest neighborhoods on Chicago's South Side. He had a tight bond with his brother, Swag Dinero, who was also a rapper, even though they had different moms. Life wasn't easy for Jojo from the start. His dad went to prison for attempted murder when Jojo was just a baby and ended up serving 13 years.
How old were you when your dad got locked up?
8 months.
Oh, you were a baby?
Yeah, he got out on my 14th birthday at my birthday party.
So for 13 years he was locked up?
Yeah.
Do you know what he went in for?
Yeah, he went in for attempt. It was an attempt. Yeah.
Life on the streets was no joke. Jojo was part of the Brick Squad, a set of the Gangster Disciples, GD, who were locked in a heated rivalry with the Black Disciples, BD, especially their Lamron set. Brick Squad also rode with STL, ABT, another GD crew, which only fueled the conflict with BD sets like O Block and 600. But the main drama came from Brick Squad and Lamron because they were so close to each other, making it easy for tensions to flare up. When Jojo's story hit the news, people tried to frame him as just another kid caught in the middle of a gang war. But those who knew him said otherwise. Jojo was deep in the streets, and his name still carries weight. He wasn't tied to the BDs from O Block directly, but he grew up around guys like Lil Reese and Lil Durk. Back then, there was no beef between them. They weren't homies, but they weren't enemies either, just different crews keeping their distance. Things took a turn after a fight broke out at a basketball court between Brick Squad and Lamron. After that, it was all downhill. The back and forth escalated on social media, and at the same time, Chicago's drill music scene was taking off, with guys like Chief Keef and Lil Durk leading the wave. Then, on March 28, 2012, Lil Durk dropped L's Anthem, a track that lit the fuse. In it, he took a shot at Brick Squad, rapping, "Brick Squad I safe 'em, Wooga World with 'em, so it's FM." Since Wooga World was tied to Brick Squad, the diss hit both sets hard.
Brick Squad, I say Wooga World with 'em, so
That song blew up fast, becoming one of the most talked about diss tracks in Chicago. When Jojo and Swag Dinero heard it on the radio, Jojo was heated. His set had been disrespected on a huge platform, and he wasn't about to let it slide. He turned to his brother and said, "You heard that, bro? Hell nah, we gonna go crazy, that's it."
He didn't really want to rap until he heard Lil Durk's song, that L's Anthem. Cause we heard it on the radio, like we driving, you know? It was me and him, I remember we driving, boom. He said, Brick Squad, we say f*** 'em. Like this on the radio. You talking about f*** on the radio? Man, he went crazy, fool, he ain't like that. He said, you heard that, bro? Hell no, we finna go crazy, that's it. After that, shoot, he was going crazy, bro.
At the time, Jojo wasn't even serious about rapping, but after hearing the diss, he felt like he had to step up and respond. That decision set off a chain of events that no one could have seen coming. On April 27th, 2012, Jojo dropped a remix of Chief Keef's Every Day and called it BDK, K300K. For a little background, May 100 is a group made up of several Black Disciple BD sets in Chicago, including some big names like Chief Keef, Lil Reese, and Lil Durk. But JoJo wasn't just coming for those rappers. He aimed his diss at the entire BD gang by naming the song BDK, short for Black Disciple K'er. In the track, JoJo made it loud and clear where he stood, rapping, "These rappers claim 300, but we BDK."
These claim 300, but we BDK.
He didn't stop there. JoJo took direct shots at Lil Durk too, spitting, "Durk say F Brick Squad, so I can't wait to catch him. Squeeze this F in 40, now they got him on a stretcher." This wasn't just a light diss track. It became a rallying cry for GD rappers who were beefing with the BDs.
Say Brick Squad, so I can't wait to catch him. Squeeze this in 40, now they got him.
And it lit a fire that would burn through Chicago, sparking one of the bloodiest periods in the city's gang history. JoJo's song didn't just call out his rivals. It enraged entire neighborhoods. By dissing Chief Keef, Lil Durk, Lil Reese, and the whole BD gang, JoJo painted a massive target on his back.
What was the O Block reaction to that song? What was, you living in O Block, what was the initial reaction?
Like, the initial reaction was, he finna die.
Things escalated quickly. Not even 24 hours after dropping K300K on September 1st, JoJo doubled down with more diss tracks, like his I Got That Sack freestyle, where he kept throwing shots at his enemies. JoJo wasn't letting up. In fact, the buzz around his music only seemed to fuel him. He kept going harder, taunting the BDs and pushing the beef further. JoJo also took the drama to social media, posting tweets like, 5,000 effing views in one day. Tonight gone make 2 days. But with Lil Durk, I'm not even gonna diss him no more. He don't want no smoke. And Lil Durk say, stop writing, shorty, you giving him shine. LMAO. Fam, you started this ish when you said I have Brick Squad, but we're ready for whatever. These posts only made things worse, sparking a back and forth with Lil Durk, Lil Reese, and others. Soon, the threats started coming in hot, with JoJo's name popping up in conversations about revenge. Some OGs in Chicago saw where this was heading and tried to step in. Guys from the 10 Trey block reached out, telling JoJo to chill before it was too late. They'd already seen too many lives lost to street violence and didn't want JoJo to become another statistic. But by then, the situation was already spiraling out of control.
Joe, gotta understand, Joe, down behind this, you feel me? Joe, don't be the one, Joe. Try to take y'all to school, Joe. Be something about property, Joe. Real talk, Joe.
They tried to tell him this kind of beef only leads to one thing, but JoJo wasn't listening. Caught up in the gang life, the clout, and the rush of being the center of attention, he brushed off every warning. Things escalated quickly after JoJo dropped his diss tracks. One day, JoJo allegedly spotted Lil Reese while driving through the city. Instead of letting it go, JoJo and his crew started following Reese's car, yelling threats like, "Reese ain't even driving, he a B, Emma off his R."
Hey, hurry up, he turning, they turning, catch that light, he ain't even driving,
JoJo wasn't shy about the encounter either. He tweeted about it afterward, taunting Reese and making it clear he wasn't backing down. But while JoJo was busy showing off online, his enemies were quietly planning their next move. What had started as music beef had turned deeply personal, and the BDs were out for revenge. Even as the threats poured in, JoJo kept pushing the limits. He drove through his rival's neighborhood, snapped a picture, and posted it online just to prove he wasn't scared. To him, it was about showing strength. But all he was really doing was making things worse. The clock was ticking, and JoJo's reckless moves were leading him straight into trouble. On September 4th, 2012, JoJo made a decision that sealed his fate. At around 4:04 p.m., he and his crew rode through BD territory again, where Lil Reese was reportedly in the area. JoJo didn't hold back. He taunted Reese directly, mocking him, and doing everything he could to provoke a reaction. Reese allegedly told him, "Emma off you," making it clear the threats weren't just words anymore.
No, yeah. What's wrong with you? Hey, I am Brick Squad. Brick Squad, boy. Talk about, boy. We get up.
Instead of stepping back, JoJo doubled down. He took the beef to social media again, tweeting, "I am out here on my 2 feet, where you at?" For JoJo, this was about proving he wasn't scared, but it was a dangerous game. By 6:13 p.m., he pushed it even further, sharing his exact location in another tweet. "I'm on 069, I'm out here." It was a bold move, too bold, and it gave his rivals exactly what they needed. By 7:30 p.m., the streets answered back. Jojo was riding on the handlebars of a bike, pedaled by one of his crew, near 70th Street and Princeton Avenue. A 4-door sedan pulled up behind them, with 2 other cars following close behind. Someone in the front seat of the sedan opened fire, hitting Jojo near the corner of 70th and Princeton. He tried to run, but his injuries were too severe. Jojo collapsed on the sidewalk, just a few blocks away. Paramedics rushed him to Coleman Children's Hospital, but by 9:03 p.m., it was over. Lil Jojo was pronounced dead. Surveillance footage from the area later confirmed much of what happened. Jojo could be seen riding on the bike as the cars approached from behind. He turned to look, realizing too late that things were about to go south. In the footage, the rider with Jojo is seen running back in the opposite direction after the shots were fired, likely trying to escape the chaos. Moments later, police vehicles arrived at the scene, but it was already too late to save him. According to the police report, 6 9mm shell casings were found at the scene, which matched what witnesses said. They heard 6 gunshots. Tragically, one of the bullets hit Jojo in the back, going straight through his heart. The story spread like wildfire, with news outlets quickly linking Jojo's MDL to his beef with BD affiliates Chief Keef, Lil Durk, and Lil Reese. Jojo's brother, Swag Dinero, later opened up about the last time he saw his brother alive. Just an hour before the shooting, the two had been hanging out together. After Swag dropped Jojo off, they went their separate ways, completely unaware that it would be the last time they'd ever see each other.
Yeah, I was with him that day.
You were with him?
I dropped him off,
Okay.
Probably less than an hour from when I dropped him off.
After Jojo's death, his rivals wasted no time mocking him.
King Von don't know Jojo. We don't know Jojo shit. They stretch gang out. We out here on the block. I'm making this like Jojo.
But it was Chief Keef's reaction that stood out the most and stirred up the most controversy. Right after Jojo's emder, Keef tweeted a string of messages that many found disrespectful, laughing hysterically about the situation. Although Keef later claimed his account had been hacked and that he didn't even know who Jojo was, the damage was already done. His tweets only fueled speculation, with many people accusing him of being involved in Jojo's MDR. Jojo's family didn't hold back their suspicions either. His mom and Swag Dinero were convinced that Chief Keef had a hand in the hit. In a televised interview, Jojo's mother directly accused Keef of hiring gang members to off her son.
Who do you think is responsible for your son's death?
Chief Keef.
Himself pulled the trigger?
I don't believe himself pulled the trigger. I believe he paid somebody to do it.
Swag backed her up, saying the same thing. And one of Jojo's affiliates even added fuel to the fire in an interview, claiming, "We heard them rap dudes put money on bro's head."
So we heard them on Jojo boy. We heard them rap put money on bro head too.
Jojo's death had already shaken the streets, but the accusations against Chief Keef added fuel to the fire. People speculated even more that Keef had signed off on the hit, especially after his cousin Tado went online and named names. He called out D-Rose, Fredo Santana, and Key K, Keef's affiliates, as the ones who allegedly carried out Jojo's MDL. Those posts only made the rumors louder and gave people more reasons to believe Keef was involved. Swag Dinero didn't stay silent either. He dropped hints online about the shooter, suggesting that payback had already happened. He made a cryptic comment saying the person responsible for Jojo's MDL had been offed. In an interview, Swag seemed to confirm it, saying that after leaving the hospital where Jojo died, he and his uncle did what they did that same night. Many people took that as a nod to revenge, a sign that Jojo's family had handled things their way.
He's gone already. There's nothing else to talk about. I left out here, I was crying like, but I wasn't like sad and was mad crying. You know, I looked at Unc, man, and we left. We hopped and we went and we did what we.
The talk of retaliation wasn't just street gossip either. Police reports backed it up. Just 2 weeks after JoJo was offed, on September 17, 2012, Chief Keef's affiliate, Keith Bonds, known as Kiki, was shot and offed. Authorities believe Kiki's death was directly tied to JoJo's MDR, a chilling act of revenge in an already vicious cycle. The whole situation is nothing short of tragic. JoJo's story is a harsh reminder of how quickly the streets can pull someone in and cut their life short. Born Joseph Coleman on April 6, 1950, JoJo grew up on the south side of Chicago, in the South Darren area, near Trammell Park. He shared a tight bond with his brother, Swag Dinero, who was only 3 months older than him. Though they had different moms and lived in separate homes, their houses were close enough that they spent almost all their time together. The two were inseparable, sneaking out late at night to hang out, making sure their bond stayed strong no matter what.
And your brother is Lil Jojo?
Mm-hmm.
Older or younger brother?
That's my younger brother.
Okay. How much older are you then?
I'm born in January, born in April, so like 3 months.
3 months? Oh, so different parents?
Different
Fathers?
mothers.
Different mothers?
Yeah. Or, you know, we was sneaking out and getting to each other until we got old enough to stop sneaking or whatever.
Looking back, JoJo's life was full of potential and family love, but the streets didn't give him a chance to make it out. On a deeper level, life wasn't easy for Lil Jojo and Swag. Their dad, John Coleman, went to prison for attempted MDR when Jojo was just 5 months old, leaving their moms to raise them alone.
How old were you when your dad got locked up?
Like 8 months.
Oh, you were a baby?
Yeah, he got out on my 14th birthday, at my birthday party. He walked in the birthday party, you know, like that was crazy.
Swag even moved to the suburbs for a while and brought JoJo with him, hoping to get him away from the streets. Swag reunited with their dad when he was 14, but it was short-lived. John was locked up again the next year for drugs and got a 22-year sentence. To this day, he's still in federal prison.
This dude pulling up in a Charger, you looking up to this fool. This fool get locked up when we 15. He just got a 22-year sentence. So he in the Fed right now.
So after 1 year being out, he gets an even bigger sentence.
The family had deep ties to gang life. Their dad, uncles, and cousins were all gangster disciples. And though their moms worked hard to keep JoJo and Swag out of that world, the streets had a strong pull. Swag even remembered their mom finding old photos of them throwing up gang signs and punishing them, trying to keep them on the right track. But without a father figure around, the brothers had to grow up fast. By their early teens, they were already making choices no kid should have to face, often learning the hard way without anyone to guide them. It's heartbreaking to think about kids like Lil Jojo and Swag, trying to figure life out in a world stacked against them. Growing up surrounded by crime, gang culture, and constant pressure from older influences, it's no surprise they made choices that kept pulling them deeper into the streets. It's not fair to expect kids in that kind of environment to navigate life perfectly when everything around them seems designed to set them up for failure. Lil Jojo didn't start out wanting to rap. That was Swag's thing. Swag was the one dropping tracks early, guided by Smilers from Brick Squad, who saw his talent and brought him into the studio. Jojo didn't even think about music until Dirk's L's Anthem dropped and changed everything. That diss track lit a fire in Jojo, pushing him into music and sparking the BDK movement that made him a name across Chicago. For many on the South Side, Lil Jojo became more than just a rapper. He was a symbol. Some even compared his influence to that of Larry Hoover, not because he was some big-time player or made stacks of money, but because he created a movement that brought people together. He became a modern-day icon of defiance, a voice for G's who felt overlooked and disrespected. His tracks, especially BDK, rallied people and left a mark that still lingers in the streets. But while Jojo's story feels legendary to some, it's also painfully tragic. He was a young guy with so much potential, caught up in a cycle that chews people up and spits them out. Despite warnings from those who had seen too much of that life, he stayed in too deep, driven by pride, loyalty, and the pressures of gang culture. After his death, instead of finding a way to heal, his crew focused on revenge, just like so many others caught in the same trap. After Lil Jojo's MDR, the pain only got worse. His enemies celebrated. while his family and friends were left in deep sorrow, vowing revenge. It was a sad back and forth, with families on both sides torn apart, and the violence just kept rising. What makes it even harder to swallow is that Lil Jojo, like so many others, was just a kid trying to figure out his place in a world that wasn't built for him to succeed. But in the end, he became just another name in a senseless, endless battle that claimed so many young lives.
It happened, man. God, forgive me for the evil that I don't dwell that on no more. I'm a new me now, but we was happy as hell. It was a party that day. It was a whole party, bro. Like, it was crazy, bro. Like, I was happy because everybody wanted Lil Jojo to die, man, and it was just up how we was rooting for somebody to die, man.
Even after Jojo was gone, his impact lived on, though not in the way anyone would have wanted. The movement he helped build, BDK, kept spreading, catching the attention of more people, some inspired by it, others just wanting to be part of the chaos. But with that spread came more violence, more grief, and more lives taken too soon. The cycle that had taken Jojo's life continued, taking even more people with it and leaving behind a trail of broken families and lost potential.
So the movement's still living on, man.
Movement always living on. Hey, and I want to let y'all know, man, can't no stop this BDK movement, man. But Jojo or us.
It's tough because Jojo had so much ahead of him, just like many of the kids caught up in the same situation. They all deserve better, but the streets don't care. And until something changes, the cycle will keep turning, taking even more kids who don't get the chance to make it out. Jojo's story is one of promise and heartbreak. He could have been so much more, but the streets had their grip on him. His legacy is admired by some, mourned by others, and serves as a painful reminder of what happens when young lives are trapped in a system that doesn't give them a real way out.